All right, Jana, thanks. New tonight, 3 rounds of airdrop training took place this afternoon at Westover Air Reserve Base in Chicopee. Each round included 4 aircraft. And we stopped by to learn more about the process.
It closely mimics what we do in an operational, where we're actually needing to drop those wartime supplies and food and water for humanitarian assistance.
Lieutenant Stedman tells us low-cost items like water and reusable parachutes were used during today's training.